What's up, Cobra Kai here, and we got a new Cobra Kai video on Robby Keene. I decided to think of this video because after watching my Sam LaRusso is a bad decision maker video, I decided to make a video on why Robby went from a Miyagi student to a traitor to Miyagi to possibly in season 5 coming back. Yeah, in season 5, he could possibly come back now that he's realized what Cobra Kai has done to students like Kenny, and his training has failed. What he did to Kenny, what he was trying to teach Kenny, has turned Kenny into more of a bully than to a hero. He could realize that, hey, like, he could, but anyway, so we are, for this video, we have some background history on Robby Keene. We know about Robby is that he was born to Shannon Keene and Johnny Lawrence. But Johnny was never there for Robby. That's not a history of Robby video. I'm just doing some background history. So we know that Johnny's mom died. So when Robby was born, Johnny was too busy getting drunk to show up for his son. So he basically just didn't show up at all in his son's life until he was 15, where Johnny tried to make up for his past mistake, but by that point, Robby wanted nothing to do with him. Johnny had already messed up when Robby was born, so why would Robby, a 15-year-old, want to start now? If this guy, Johnny, did not want, if this guy, Johnny, didn't show up, in Robby's point of view, not in Johnny's point of view, in Robby's point of view, if Johnny didn't even show up for when he was born, why would he want a relationship with him at all? This is season 1 stuff. So, so we first meet Robby in season 1, episode 2, it's called Strike First, where he basically tells Johnny that the principal calls him saying he's been caught with a drug called Molly. So Johnny tries to be like, are you doing dumb things, Robby? And Robby basically like, you can talk, you've never been there for my entire life. But stay out of it. So the first impression we get of Robby is kind of negative. But then we see that he steals stuff from his job to give to his friend, and that's when he discovers his dad's Cobra Kai dojo ad. So Robby's plan here is to get back at his dad by working for his dad's enemy, Daniel LaRusso, and yeah. So Robby is just thinking of, if he finds out, he'll get mad. But as he starts to work there, he starts to like Daniel and like Daniel's thing. So that's when Daniel's like, yeah, do his chores. But he's like, Daniel. So then Daniel decides to teach him the second part of karate, actually doing the karate. And Robby learns that he's actually pretty good at karate. So yeah. So in episode 6, this is why, because this is the reason why he decided to do this is because he went over to see Cobra Kai, and he saw John bonding with Miguel, my favorite character. That's why he decided to do all this. Because of a misunderstanding. A lot of these shows' rivalries are based on misunderstandings. the two main rivals in this show are in rivals because of misunderstanding. Miguel is in a rivalry with Robby because of a misunderstanding. Tori is in a rivalry with Sam because Sam misunderstood something and thought Tori robbed her mom when she didn't. A lot of these shows' rivalry are born because of the misunderstandings of other characters' actions. I realize that. So yeah. So in episode 6, Miguel sees when Hawk encourages Miguel to go over to Sam's house to meet her dad. He sees Robby there, and and Sam, being a probably terrible girlfriend, does not tell him. Is still afraid of what her dad might think if she finds out she's dating Cobra Kai. So she doesn't even tell him who that guy is. Another point of Sam being a terrible person. I know this is about Robby, but we're getting the build up. So in episode 9, so Sam and Robby meet for the first time. But in episode 9, when Louis breaks Johnny's car and Daniel has to buy a new one, Robby goes over to train with him, but he sees Sam and tries to fake an injury to get both him and Sam out of there. So they go to the party. They see a drunken Miguel. Miguel accidentally accuses Sam, and they break up because Miguel drunkenly and jerkily fights Robby, but Sam breaks up with Miguel, saying Cobra Kai. Yeah, but Sam, I get it, but I get what Sam's point of view is, that she didn't know Miguel was gonna be drunk, but still, another bad move on Sam. I know this is a Robby story. I'm mentioning a lot of bad moves that Sam has made, but I just how do I put this? I can't open it. So anyway, back to that. I'm just saying. I know this. So Robby goes into the All Valley tournament. Of course, unaffiliated because Johnny, forgot to mention, So when Johnny and Daniel were bonding, Johnny and Daniel went to house to be friends and practice Rocky 3, where Apollo beat Rocky, but Robby of course ruined that. Johnny pushes Daniel. Robby reveals the truth to Robby reveals the truth to Daniel, and Daniel kicks Robby out, thinking this was all some big ploy to trick him. So yeah. But it wasn't. Robby was only doing it to get back at his dad. And I like how Amanda considered Sam and Daniel are playing not to go to the Valley, and Sam's like, sorry, and Amanda, being the best character of the entire show, is like, sorry, your boyfriend turned out to be a jerk. And Daniel, sorry, your boyfriend Robby turned out to be the son of your worst enemy. I love Amanda. I love that moment where she tells Daniel that Robby's like his boyfriend, even though that's kind of gross, Amanda, but it's still funny. This dude, how old is Daniel? Like 50? And Robby's 15. I know it doesn't matter. I know it's only a joke, but a throwaway joke that will never be mentioned again, but it's still funny. So anyway, back to the episode itself. Hawk and Robby is able to get into the quarterfinals against Hawk, the main bully of Cobra Kai, and there's Robby right there on my calendar. Hey, Robby, doing a video on you. I'll just turn it over so you guys see Robby, but so yeah, but anyway, Robby fights Hawk. Robby fights Hawk. Hawk does a video, but Hawk does a video, but I know Hawk kicks Robby in the Hawk kicks Robby's like, oh, and calls Hawk's haircut stupid. Hawk kicks him in the back and gets disqualified. And Johnny starts to, and yeah, so now it's Miguel against Robby, like in the final. Miguel does injure Robby's back arm even more. Robby is now, Daniel realizes he was wrong to judge Robby just because he's the son of his moral enemy, and they get back together. Yeah, they get back together, and he joins Miyagi Karate. And Johnny realizes that, hey, he meant to reform Cobra Kai, but no, he's just turned good kids back, and he's just turned good kids into bullies now. So, yeah. So then in season 2, it's continuing. It's the continued training of Miyagi-Do, and it's Miyagi-Do, and even Sam joins in. So, yeah, so then we get a confrontation at a hardware store because Stingray thought that Stingray or Raymond at the time thought that Robby looked more like Daniel than Johnny. Yeah. So Daniel tries to they have a fight about how Diaz, he told Diaz to throw, and he's like, I told Diaz not do that. I told Miguel not do that. And he's like, I know you're trying to make up for lost time, but it's gonna take a while. And he's like, really? You're doing it by hanging out with that guy? And he's like, hey, Mr. Russo is a better man than you'll ever be, and walks off. Then he tells Daniel that Robby, it just proves to him that Johnny cares more about his rivalry with Daniel than the relationship with Garrett, more about his rivalry with Daniel more than the fact that he wants to fix his relationship with his own son. And they leave. So in episode, so in episode 4, episode 4, we get Tori joining into Cobra Kai, but I'm just gonna mention that. But then after Dimitri gets beat up by Kreese, he joins Cobra Kai. He joins Miyagi-Do. And yeah, Dimitri in this season is really annoying. I kind of agree with everyone. He's kind of whiny. He's kind of annoying. Daniel tries to teach him, but Daniel tries to teach Dimitri, but Dimitri later explains that he had a bunch of friends, and now his bunch of friends are all asses. So that's why he wants to join, because he had a bunch of friends, and now they're a bunch of asses. So understandable why he wouldn't want to. So yeah. So anyway, then after joining Miyagi, he fights against Red Eli or Dark Hawk and his Cobra Kai crony, but then who shows up? But Sam and Robby, and they basically defeat Hawk, but Kreese is able to be like, he's able to pull up Palpatine and be like, bro, it's not, I can feel your anger, and you should go trash Miyagi-Do because the fight's not over until you say it is. So this is caused Daniel to confront Johnny, with Kreese just standing there with his arms crossed, just not saying anything. Or yeah, it's about Robby, but Cobra Kai has to be involved too. So but then in episodes, it's a really, one day it's a really hot day at Miyagi-Do it's a really hot day at Miyagi-Do when they're all complaining, not just Dimitri, everybody's complaining about how hot it is. and so Daniel decides to take it from hot to cold, but that ruins his business with Anush, and Amanda calls it quits because she's kind of because she feels like she lost her husband when Cobra Kai opened, and he opened Miyagi out to fight back against Cobra Kai. So yeah, so in episode 8, Sam learns that Tori and Miguel are dating, and since the whole rivalry between Sam and Tori is based on a misunderstanding, remember, misunderstanding, they got, and remember again, misunderstanding, 3 letters. The whole rivalry is based on a misunderstanding. That and Tori just and Tor and Miguel confronts Sam about how she Tori about Sam confronts how he knows Tori, and then he says she's on Cobra Kai with him. She's like figures, and then he's like, and then and then and then and then he tries to he says, hey, you don't know Tori at all, and she's like, hey, Tori's a bad person, and he's like, hey, you don't know Tori at all, and she's like, I know enough. Sam, really? Some people defend Sam and say she's the best character out of every season, but I gotta say, no, she's not. Sam makes some very bad decisions. I made a whole video on it. Check it in the link description. Similar to the bad decisions of a true Cobra, or a true Miyagi, or a true Eagle Fang. That's the video. Please watch it. Please watch it because I made a very good time. I made a very good time working on it, and it's the best video. Not actually every video I make on this channel is the best, but it's the best video. So, but anyway, yeah. So Sam trips Tori. Tori trips Sam with no one seeing, but when Sam trips Tori, everyone sees, and Miguel yells at Sam, and they get kicked out for trying to trip an employee, but the employee tried to trip them. Why was no one seeing? Why was to make Sam look like the bad guy when Tori's the real bad guy? And yeah, so then episode 9, Moon invites everyone, including Miyagi and Cobra Kai, to a party where Sam and Tori totally go at it. But yeah, but when Aisha reveals them, but when Aisha reveals that Miguel returned Mr. Miyagi Medal of Honor to Robby, Sam drunkenly kisses Miguel, with Tori seeing, and this is where Tori becomes a psychopath. And then in the finale, actually not in the finale, in the same episode, Tori, Robby, Sam, the cops are coming, and Robby says, hey, I gotta take you back to your parents' house, and she's like, no, she can't see her like this, take her to Johnny's house. But that causes Johnny and Daniel's friendship to go back to a rivalry. So Sam, I know you're trying to avoid your parents, but Johnny and Daniel were on the same page until you ruined it. Good going, Sam. But yeah, so Robby tries to take the fall. Daniel again, for the second time in a row, just loses trust in Robby. The show really is gonna stop doing that. I know it's only for season 1 and 2 where he does that, but I wouldn't be surprised if season 5 does this too. And I'll be really annoyed this whole him losing trust in Robby and then regaining it. But at least, so yeah. So then the new school starts. Aisha and Miguel don't see Tori. Then what happens is that Sam and Robby make a pact. Sam and Robby have been dating for this entire season, and they make a pact to not lie to each other. Since he revealed to them, but he reveals to Sam that he took Mr. Miyagi, that he took back Mr. Miyagi's Medal of Honor to avoid Sam getting back with Miguel. But Sam does not reveal the whole kissing Miguel thing. because they made this pact, even though Sam. So Tori has to reveal it to Robby, and Robby's all shocked. But then Tori tries to kill Sam. Robby tries to intervene. Then Miguel tries to intervene, thinking he's gonna hurt Tori. Then it's just a fight between two boys, and Miguel funnily says Sam doesn't love Robby. He's like, hey, why did you kiss Sam? And he's like, because Sam didn't love you. He doesn't love Robby. She loves Miguel, and it's just like, come on, Miguel, and come on, Robby. You already know why she kissed him. She was drunk. I feel like that line could have been changed differently. Something like, oh, like, like, why'd you, like, something like, you could have, like, you could have had her from the beginning if you hadn't been such a jerk, Miguel. Yeah, that would have been a better line instead of a why did it happen? Because he already knew why it happened. He already knew why they kissed, because she was drunk. If they changed it to like a scene where he says, "Oh, you could have had her from the beginning if you hadn't have become such a jerk, Miguel," that would have been a better line. But no, it's just a why did it happen? You already know why it happened, Robby. But yeah, so Miguel's about to break Robby's arm until he flashes back to what Johnny says, lets him go, and Miguel and Robby angrily kicks Miguel off the building, breaking his back. So yeah, and Robby runs away. So season 3 starts off with Season 3 starts off with Robby expelled and on the run, and everyone trying to look for him. So Daniel realized that Robby must have stolen one of their cars, and took out the GPS. So he's like, "Hey Johnny, yo bro, let's team up." But Johnny's been through a lot, with Miguel still in a coma, and so they meet up with Shannon. Shannon gets Robby there. Daniel talks with Robby, and he's like, hey, it's not his fault. But then the police show up because they expected Robby would already be ready to turn himself in. Robby tries to run. Robby gets arrested. Daniel's like, hey, dude, I'll see you in jail. I'll see you in jail, and I'll see you every day. And he's like, don't bother, bitch. And it's just like, this is where Robby is one of the worst characters in the season. Right here, in this very same season. Because, I get it, he feels like this is a betrayal, but he never gets over this betrayal until season 4. So Robby meets Sean Payne, the brother of a character that he meets in season 4. And they kind of had a little rivalry until they eventually give respect, until they become friends. And Chris visits Robby, saying, "Hey, if you want to take on your bullies, Miyagi is good for in tournaments, but dude, this is the real world." So he pulls a Cobra Kai and kicks all these guys in the face, and they don't snitch on each other, becoming friends. So then Robby gets out of jail. And while that's been happening, Miguel is finally out of his coma and has been learning how to walk, and with help of Johnny, and now Miguel and Johnny have since Chris took back Cobra Kai from them, and poisoned Johnny's students' heads with being bullies again. They were like, hey, let's form a new JoJo with the rejects, Bert, Mitch, and 2 others that they don't even give names to. They're like, hey, let's give our new name Eagle Fang Karate, which I kind of like still. So so while Robby's been in juvie, Sam and Miguel have been getting closer. And then after saving the tournament, Robby sees them almost kiss, and is pretty mad that his current girlfriend has gone back to her ex. And he's basically like, oh, you couldn't wait till I was in juvie to get back with him, could you, Sam? And she's like, and he's like, oh, I didn't know you were in jail. Sam, what do you mean that you didn't know he was in jail? You were writing him letters. Were you writing... How'd you not know he was in jail? You were writing him letters. Did you write him letters, like, when he was on the run? I don't get this line. Like, when he says this, and I quote, that they must have been doing it while he was getting his face bashed in. And she's like, oh, I didn't know. What do you mean you didn't know? Does that mean you didn't know he was getting his face bashed in, or you didn't know he was in jail? Which one? They never bring this up again. Did Sam know he was in jail? Or 2, did she know, but didn't know he was getting his face punched in every day? Which one is it? This line is so not a good line for her to say. This is another season where I find lines from the show which makes absolutely no sense. The finale and this episode. What up with this show and having terrible quotes to terrible lines that don't make any sense? What did she mean? We'll never find out. So Robby tries to fight Robby tries to fight Miguel. Sam does a reverse to season 1 where Sam pushes him off, and he's like, "You deserve each other. We're over, Sam." So Sam immediately gets back with Miguel in the next episode. So what was the whole point? Either that took over a week and she was crying that her boyfriend broke up with her, or it's the next day and she's immediately back with Miguel. What is it? Did the episode 9 take place over like a month or a week? Because episode 9 is a Christmas episode. So is that, so when did that episode take place? Which month in 2019? 2018, sorry. Even though this came out in 2021, it doesn't follow. Yeah, it's so weird where their timeline takes place. But anyway. But what does Robby do? He goes looking for his old uncle, John Kreese. And he's like, "Sensei Kreese?" And Kreese just smiles like yeah, I knew I'd get him. And Hawk and the others, except for Tori, are all kind of mad that he's here. They're kind of blaming him, saying, "Oh, he's the reason why Miguel was in the hospital." And they're like, and Kreese is like, "Oh, but Robby's our guest, and you cannot hurt him." Yeah. But Robby kind of earns Hawk's respect by the end. So Robby continues to be trained by Kreese. So Johnny, after finding out that the Hawk switches sides from Cobra Kai to Miyagi-Do or Eagle Fang, and helps the Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang people defeat the Cobra Kai people. And Tori's like, "Yeah, you better watch your backs." And he's like, "We don't have to watch our backs. We got these guys," Dimitri says. And so something Dimitri says, I can't forget. But so what happens is, I'm totally blanking right now. So what happens is that what happens? In season 4 we get to meet a new character named Kenny, who's friends whose brother is, as I said, Sean Payne. Johnny discovers that Robby's been training with Kreese, and is obviously not happy about it. But Robby's basically saying, "Hey, he knows what's best for you," and starts fighting Kreese. Well, Robby's like, "Hey, he knows what's best for you," and then Robby and John, here's another quote where they could have delivered this line way differently. Third time that I'm doing this this line could have delivered differently. And it's the second time in the same season. It's the same season where so Johnny defeats Kreese. Robby calls him weak. But this dude just defeats your sensei. What's weak about him? Robby, say a different line. That doesn't mean anything. Say a different line that makes sense. Say it like, oh, you could like. Here's another line that could have been worded great. Where Johnny defeats Kreese and Robby's like, oh, you defeated Kreese, but now you have me to deal with. That would have been a great line. But the show goes with, you're weak, even though he defeated his sensei just a minute before. Show, what is up with your lines? Your lines are so laughable when they don't make any sense. Like, this dude just defeated his sensei, and you're having his son call him weak, even though he just defeated both of their senseis. Like, here's a different line he could have said. He could have said that, oh, you defeated Kreese, but now you have to deal with me. That would have been a better line because it would have made sense. Because it would have made sense to the scene that just happened. He just defeated Kreese, and now he has to deal with Robby. But no, they just go with you're weak. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with all these quotes. I'm done with all these quotes. These quotes in these shows, the words in the shows where I felt like it would have been done differently. I'm done with. Stop. Show. Season 5, you better be changing. You have good writers, but why do these good writers write terrible lines? Like in season 2 and both in this season have terrible lines that could have been worded differently if they just were given thought. Like, you're weak. This dude just defeated your sensei. What are you doing calling him weak? As I said before, it would have been better if he said, "Oh, you defeat Kreese, but now you gotta deal with me." That would have been a better line because it would have been like, "Oh, Johnny just defeated Kreese, but now he has to deal with his own son." But no, they don't go with that because I think should I be writing this show because I come up with better quotes than the show itself. I should be writing this show. I come with better quotes. I come up with better lines than the show itself. Nothing against the writers or the directors or anything. Even Will Smith is on the show. But I'm just saying, come up with better lines that actually make sense to the actual story and the actual scene. You're weak? Really? That's the best you could come up with when he just saw him defeat Sensei. You're weak. Robby? I don't think you're reading this right. I think you should have said what I said. But anyway, back on from my tangent about how the show had Johnny defeats Robby, Kreese almost chokes out Johnny, and then Daniel shows up. But then same as Daniel does chosen pressure point technique on Kreese, and Kreese is like, hey, if we win, you guys gotta shut down. But if we win, you guys gotta shut down. But if we lose, we'll shut down. Yeah, but Johnny cuts him off before he can say the first part. Wow. Anyway, but I did it myself. So anyway, see, I am a better writer. So anyway, back to the stuff on this show. Robby, the newly dating Miguel and Sam show up, and Robby's like, hey, get out of here. So then in season 4, we see Robby take on, as Kreese is searching for Terry Silver, we see Robby take on a mentor role as the sensei. And he defeats everyone except Tori. And he's like, oh, I lost. Final leave Cobra Kai. And she's like, nope, stay because we need you for 10 more episodes of this show. And yeah, so that's when Kenny Payne shows up. He's being bullied by Anthony LaRusso. Yeah, Anthony LaRusso, the worst character who hasn't been appeared in the season since season 2. When half a season, I think it was season 1. He hasn't appeared since season 1. Season 1. And he's obviously now transcended from Russo member to bully character. And that's why he goes to Cobra Kai to defend himself. And because Sean's like, hey, I know a guy. His name is Robby Keene. So he goes and finds Robby. And Robby starts training Kenny, but Terry's message starts corrupting Kenny a bit. So yeah. So during a scene where during a scene, they're touring a new school. They're touring a new school. Yeah, they're touring their West Valley High School. I guess they're in their final year of middle school, even though this is Kenny's first year. Wait, what? How's Kenny able to graduate? I'm kind of confused. I guess they're touring it, but still. But anyway, but then he sees Bert and Nate, who says, hey, wait, you can't wear that dojo here. You can't wear that shirt in here. He's like, it's my dojo. And they make a bully joke about, are they still in kindergarten class? And then Hawk, not seeing that Bert and Nate were the aggressors, attacks Kenny and saying, hey, you better leave that dojo before you can because it's about to close down and it's not going to be pretty. So Kenny tells them about it. So then in a movie night, Bert and Nate are randomly there. And they bump into Hawk, and we can't see what Hawk says, but Robby thinks that's him gonna bully Kenny, and they indicate Robby as a traitor. They call Hawk a traitor for betraying Cobra Kai for Eagle Fang, and yeah. So they also shave Hawk's mohawk, and Hawk and Eli join Miyagi now. Yeah. So then in the finale, Rob Crease says, "Hey, is that your enemy?" They defeat the challenges. So he says, is that your enemy or is that your friend? So Robby kicked Kenny in the nose, and then when Kenny starts going on dark side and starts beating out Anthony LaRusso, and he's like, and Robby starts to see, this is what I taught you, and he's like, your boy is Anthony LaRusso. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, this isn't what I'm gonna. Should I mention the party episode? It's not good for the Sam. So in episode, I'm gonna talk about episode 8. Then I'm gonna continue on with this. So in episode 8, Terry Silver buys Tori and Robby a new car, where they basically try to outshine Sam and Miguel. Sam's looking at Robby, Miguel. Yeah, this is the worst Sam episode ever. There's 2 Sam episodes where I totally think Sam's the worst character. Episode 6, and this one. Because she gets mad at Miguel when she was doing the exact same thing. And even Miguel's like, what are you doing? And she's like, she's not the only one. She's doing what Sensei Gordon said and fighting back. Miguel was just trying to have a nice night. But Sam ruined it because she's the worst character on the show. But anyway, yeah. If there's any Sam lovers, watch my video and try to defend me that Sam's the best character. But if there isn't, agree that Sam's the most garbage character on the show. She's a true Cobra Kai. She should have been a Cobra Kai to begin with. Because where she joined Miyagi. There's even a deleted scene where she pushes, where she kicks, where she pushes Dimitri. I'm like, wait, what? That makes me dislike Sam even more, that they deleted a scene where she's being mean to her own Miyagi member. But anyway, back to Robby. So he and Tori have a fun time. They do the H word. They do the HOOKUP word in Terry Silver's car. Then when Robby sees that Kenny's beating up Kenny, Anthony LaRusso says Kenny's bully, he's like, this is what I taught you. And he's like, you're going to be in a world of, when we enter high school, Anthony, you're going to be in a world of pain. Get it? Pain, pain, get it? But he's like, listen to what I taught you. And he's like, no mercy. So, yeah, so this makes Robby, so Robby goes up to get talk, realizes that he's been teaching Kenny the wrong way, and loses on purpose. Then, after Cobra Kai wins the tournament, he tells Johnny goes to the vacant Cobra Kai dojo and strip mall and realizes that Terry Silver, who just arrested Terry Silver, is moving all the gang, including Stingray, up to the old Cobra Kai dojo from the Karate Kid film, and Johnny tells Robby says how it's his fault that he failed Kenny, and he's like, hey, don't blame yourself, blame him, and he's like, I'm done blaming you, Dad, and then they hug. And that's the end of Robby's story up to season 4. I really enjoy. Let me break down Robby Keene. Let me break him down for you. Season 3 really made me not like the character, but boy did season 4 redeem him. Just like it kind of redeemed every character they turned into jerk. They redeemed Tori, they redeemed Robby, they even redeemed Hawk. Tori's only redeemed because of Amanda. If Amanda hadn't swooped in and taught Tori how to be nice to Sam, Tori would still be the psychopathic that we all hate and loathe. But because of Amanda swooped in, and even in the finale, when they won, Tori was like, are you okay, Sam? But she gets lifted up by the other Cobra Kai members. That proves that Tori's not fully a psychopath, and she does have humanity. Robby even throws her shirt to him. And when Dimitri does the Eli, Tori likes it, but Dimitri feels confused. But yeah, that was the end of Robby's character. I know. After this, we've done videos on Sam. Now we're doing on Robby, and then after this video, either it will be Tori or Miguel. So, yeah, but anyway, that was it for, did Robby really improve, or is he still an ass? Comment below. Because in season 3, he really took his problems out on everyone else and blamed everyone else for his problems. And that's what you don't want to do. Blame yourself. Don't blame others. That's what people should have taught Robby. That you should blame yourself. Just because Robby took his anger because of Daniel and because of Johnny, and took it out on other characters. He wasn't even going to join Cobra Kai in the beginning. So anyway, that's it for the Robby story. Next time, we do it on the other characters of Cobra Kai. This is my new series called Cobra Kai Characters. But anyway, I'll see you next time for some more Cobra Kai. And remember, Cobra, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. And remember, Cobra Kai never dies.